Hey, this is Aaron.
And Blake, we're AB Data.
Thanks for walking through this Alteryx Weekly challenge with us.
In this video, we're taking a look at weekly challenge number 259, Disenvowel. That sounds pretty gross. On this challenge, we're going to create a workflow to remove the vowels from text, excluding vowels that are the first letter in a word. Y is one of our vowels, so we're looking at A, E, I, O, U, and Y. So let's look in Alteryx here, and we actually can solve this using just one formula tool and one regex expression. But my guess is that if you're watching this video, you probably don't know how to do that just using one expression. So we're going to walk through a couple of steps in how we can do this. This is an option, but not what we're going to be doing here today. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to start out with a record ID tool. And I want to have a record ID tool because the way that I'm going to solve this is I am going to split each of my words onto their own line. I'm going to isolate the first letter in each word, whether it's a vowel or not, and then remove all vowels from the leftover part of the word and stitch it all back together. Sounds like a lot, but it's only about 6 or 7 tools. So not a huge process to put together here. We'll be able to do it in just a few minutes. So the record ID tool is set up. You may notice that I didn't change anything with the configuration. We just want this to be a reference point so that we can put our information back here at the end. Next up, I want to use a text to columns to split my field called input data based on a space character into separate rows. That way I can have each word on a line, and I'll be able to, again, take that first letter off and then remove all the other vowels. So now that I've done this, I can go ahead and I can identify what my first letter is. So I'm going to add a new column, and I'm going to call this first letter. And it's going to be from the left side of my string field called input data. It's going to be a length of 1. I'm just going to take that very first letter. We can see from our data preview in our formula tool that it's going to be the letter G for our very first record, ground control. All right, so after that, I want to go ahead and change how my change how my input data looks. And I can do that a couple of ways. I could use a regex tool to just keep the very first letter. I could also just use another formula tool. So I'm going to use my input data, and I'm going to replace first. So I'm going to replace the first time that I have each of these characters show up. So within the string called input data, my target is going to be my first letter, and I'm going to replace it with nothing. So if we hit the run button here, we'll see that we've now taken that first letter off of each one of these words within our input data column. All right, so now I need to go ahead and replace all of my vowels. And I am going to use a regular expression for this. We're going to dip our toes into regex here. And I'm going to use the input data column. I'm going to use an expression where I'm going to look for any one character in a set, and my set's going to be A, E, I, O, U, and Y. It's case insensitive. We don't care if it's capitalized or not. And we just want to replace any of those letters with nothing. So we're going to leave this empty. Hit the run button, take a look at what we've got. So we've gone and we've removed all of those vowels, like we mentioned that we wanted to do earlier. They no longer exist due to our little regular expression. Now I need to take that first letter and I need to tag it back onto my input data, and I'm going to do that by using the formula tool and concatenating those. So I'll go ahead and I'll add a new column, and I'll call this actual results. and this is going to just be my first letter plus my input data, and I'll hit the run button. So we're in a pretty good spot now, except we still have our each one of our lines split onto 2 or even more records if we happen to have more words within each one of our input data lines here. So we're going to use the summarize tool to roll this all up, and we're going to use the concatenate function of our summarize tool. So I want to start by grouping by my record ID, and then taking my actual results and concatenating them. Instead of calling this concat actual results, I'm just going to call this actual results. I'm going to change my separator to be a space, and I'll hit the run button. And now my actual results probably fit what I was looking for from my output here. Let's go ahead and join actual results to actual results. Make sure that nothing falls out of either side of our join. We're good to go. 6 records matching up. Thanks for watching today. Hope you learned something new.
Thank you for learning with us today. Good luck on your Alteryx journey.
For more information on custom training, managed service automations, and more, please visit our website at abdataconsulting.com.